Hey everybody, it's Kairos. Like most of you, I have been watching some matches from 2020 Worlds, and this game stuck out to me. Suning versus Team Liquid in the group stage. That was just an incredible display of macro and SofM on Suning, kind of just destroying Team Liquid's bot lane before the game really got rolling. And so I'm going to break down how he did that and how Suning was able to completely kind of make the game unplayable for Team Liquid. So this started off in draft of right here. So the bot lane is locked in of the Draven and Leona for Suning, kind of giving away what they're trying to do. And so they pick up the Leona and the Draven early, which just has a lot of early kill pressure. Draven has Hail of Blades. Leona has a lot of crowd control levels 1, 2, and 3, and then up to 6. Really a lot of kill pressure in that lane against a Twitch and a Rakan that aren't really able to deal with that. It's melee versus melee. They aren't able to poke out the Leona before she goes to an all-in, or I guess Rakan is a short range, not melee, but there's just going to be a ton of kill pressure on bot lane. Lots of all-in potential, and Draven can get cashed in and just carry the rest of the game. And then also looking at the other picks, there is the Jax, which he's going to, if he's left alone on the top side, that's fine. He can still be okay. He won't be super far behind. He still scales and will still be useful against a Volley Bear, which, you know, it's not a crazy pick. It's not going to snowball super hard. Jax is able to deal with it. As long as the Lee Sin doesn't get super fed and they aren't able to abuse the top lane, he will be fine. And then also the Angel on the Galio can enable the Leona dive into bot lane, and so there's a lot of synergy there of using the Galio ult offensively. And then the Nidalee teams up well with the Draven and Leona for just a lot of early kill pressure. And so there is going to be a tremendous amount of pressure on the bot lane from Suning's bot lane, and they are going to set up the map state to encourage that and to basically make it impossible for TL to do anything in that. That their only option is to play towards top side. As soon as the bot lane gets too far ahead, Broxah doesn't want to be on that side of the map, and we'll see kind of how they develop that theme over the course of the early game. So the first play that they do to kind of set up the lane state that they want is they do a early invade. And a lot of teams have been doing this, that they kind of go for the late invade level 1 if they have the stronger level 1. So Leona has CC, Draven has a lot of damage with the Hail of Blades, Nidalee also has a lot of damage, and so Suning is confident that they are going to win this level 1. And so TL should just back up and give the red buff and commit to vertical jungling earlier. The Broxah sticks around, they kind of think about contesting, and then they give it up late, and SofM gets a tempo advantage of he's starting his camps earlier and is just going to be ahead. And then they see Broxah go, eventually they're going to see him go up. And so this really, it isolates the map. So this is the beginning of vertical jungling, where the bot lane that Suning wanted to isolate is now isolated. The Twitch and the Rakan have to play incredibly safe, knowing that Nidalee has full run of this bot side, and now they see Broxah up on the starting the red buff. And so SofM is going to full clear the bottom side, and this is good for a few reasons. And so first off, they get the matchups that they want. Of the top lane is isolated, which is fine. They believe that Jax is going to scale. He doesn't need a lot of resources, and more importantly, Nidalee gets free run on the bot side that is already under a lot of pressure just from the inherent matchup. Another kind of side benefit of this is that Lee Sin doesn't really love clearing Raptors or Krugs early on. He's not really an AoE jungler. He's more before Tiamat or before his jungle item. He doesn't prefer to do those. He likes single target camps, but Nidalee can really clear anything. She's really fast, really clear, and just really strong. And so this is a benefit for her. She can take those camps faster than Lee Sin can. And so all things considered, she will be faster clearing the bot side. And so this is just a really overall good trade, and the level 1 invade was uncontestable. This was a 0 risk invade for Suning for the most part, that they didn't really have to take a risk to set up this lane state and isolate the weak side of the map. And then they are going to see Broxah go up into the Krugs, and so that means that the Galio is going to be safer now. He doesn't have to worry about a gank, knowing that Broxah is going into the top side, and Ben takes this trade right here and gets impact low, and they end up trading flashes, which isn't a bad deal, because once they trade flashes, impact has no gap close. And so top lane isn't really under threat at this point. The lane is in a really good place for Ben. Impact doesn't have flash to gap close for the CC. So there's no gap close for Impact, and there's no CC for the Lee Sin coming to gank. And so there's not a lot of kill pressure on Ben with where the lane state is. And we see SofM setting up bot lane here. And what the bot lane did, so Ben is really in no danger. So Suning's bot lane, Sword Art and Huanfeng, are able to triple stack a wave. So they were slow pushing this wave to line up with when Nidalee would be ganking the bot lane. And so just by being present and being in the area, Tactical and Core JJ are actually all the way outside of experience and obviously gold range. And so they're being denied, I think, a triple stacked wave here. You can see the CS difference already, 13 CS. For Huanfeng on the Draven. And so this is just a huge, they aren't even really going for the all-in. They're just using that threat of going all-in to zone off Core JJ and Tactical. So Core JJ and Tactical, it's either give up a ton of CS or just you don't get to play the game. You're either going to die or you lose CS. So they take the worst, the lesser of the evils, and they lose some XP, lose some gold. And right now, they don't know if SofM is left. They don't have a ward in that bush, and so they have to respect that that the Nidalee could still be there. And then after this, there's 2 plates gone. So 2 plates have died at 3.5 minutes. That is just a ton of gold. It's 320 gold that is funneled onto the Draven, which is exactly where they wanted those resources to be allocated. Also, really interesting to know, as Lee Sin ganked top, the Galio went in and placed this deep ward. So this ward was placed on the Raptors, which signifies that they're going to repeat. They're going to keep up this pressure, and they're going to continue to split the map because they want to keep that bot lane isolated as long as they possibly can. And there's a little trade here on Core JJ. They kind of fake the back, which is nice. And now SofM is going up into his top side. He gets to clear his full top side as well. So he cleared the bot side from Broxah and then gets his whole bottom side, and he's going to repeat clearing the bottom side. And they're going to try to sync this up with the next crash. So every time that a wave is slow pushed and crashed, they're bringing pressure to zone off Tactical and Core JJ. And after, there's no point really where Broxah can show up to contest this, just because the champions are weaker. The early game is weaker. If they showed up and tried to fight it, they would lose a 3v3, they would lose a 4v4 early on. And so they can't play to the weak side of the map. And so they force Broxah up into the top side onto Jax, who's going to scale even if he's set behind. And now in the bot lane, they are slow pushing and they're going to crash another wave, and SofM is walking down. And he's getting the second spawn of these camps because the vision's set up. And Broxah comes down to, he counters this. He prevents the second take of the Krugs. And it's not too terrible for SofM. Right now he has a 10 CS lead. Bot lane has a 14 CS lead and 2 plates. And they still haven't backed yet. So as soon as they back, Draven is going to have a huge power spike. And they're just going to take over the game. And notice that every time Angel is crashing a wave, he's going to roam. So he's roaming either to impact a side lane. He has the Predator, so he's either impacting a side lane or he's going to get a deep ward like he did on the Raptors earlier. And so Angel, they get that kill. Then Jensen comes in, TPs, and they end up trading. But this really isn't the most important part of the game. They're going to the sides of the map that it's not really the core of what's making TL lose right now. It's the bottom side of the map that's really feeling a lot of pressure. So now Nidalee and Galio, they take the Scuttle Crab, they're crashing in bot, and they know that Jensen is backed. It doesn't have TP available. Also, Impact doesn't have TP available either. And so with the level 7 now on Angel, they have Suning's bot lane slow pushing a wave to create another really big crash. And they both left visions, and so their intent when they leave vision and nobody's able to see them in the fog of war is that it's basically like they're coming bot. And so we need to be careful. Like, bot lane has to lead. They have to respect the intent of what it looks like Angel and SofM are doing, of coming down. Even if they don't commit to the gank, they could just be sitting right here. They could be going to do the Drake. They could be doing any number of things. But just by exiting vision and going into fog, the bot lane for TL has to be like terrified. They have to respect this, play safe, back up, and just sack more waves to the turret, as we're going to see here. So this just repeats the cycle of they have to respect it. Full counter jungling on the bottom side. The red buff gets taken away by SofM, and then they pop this scryer just to let TL know, like, yeah, we're here. That's the third plate going down. This is a huge CS lead for Draven. And also after they clear this wave, they'll come up and they'll take this Drake completely uncontested. There's just nothing that Broxah is able to do. His bot lane is behind a lot of gold. There's a Vamp Scepter against a BF Sword right now. So really big power difference in items, as well as who Draven is in the early game, and the CC of Leona and the damage from Nidalee as well. So Uncontested Drake, and they are continuing to isolate this bot lane, continuing to make this unplayable for Tactical. And right now, Broxah's only option. He has no camps on the bot side. He can't gank the bot side. There's no dragon. He has to go into the top side and try to abuse Bin, who the Jax is down 9 CS right now. So it's not great, but he has a level advantage. Again, he's a scaling champion. And so if they aren't able to kill him and hard abuse him, this is 100% worth it for Suning. If Jax isn't dying on repeat, they're okay with this map state. And so they come up for a gank, and they're going to force out his flash again, but Broxah wasn't able to come before the flash cooldown from the early play was punishable, and so they just get his flash again, which is fine. He's able to CS under turret. There's not a huge threat. SofM comes up to kind of cover this while the wave crashes to deny a dive, and so that's the only time he needs to be up there. He just needs to exist in the top side to deny that. And now that they know Broxah is top side, Angel again is crashing the wave and then roaming. He has the Predator. He's going down for the potential bot dive, and this lines up perfectly with a wave crash. Right here we see, that's a huge amount of CS. The difference right now, Draven has 80, is 22 CS leads. Tactical has actually been farming okay, considering how much pressure is put on them. But as Suning just lines up these plays with the wave crashes, it's completely unplayable for the Twitch. Level 6 power spikes are in already. Tactical is still level 5. Core JJ is going to go down. He's level 6, so he has a slight advantage compared to Tactical, but then he gets killed. Jensen comes down, but he had to catch the wave that was crashing in mid, so he was always going to be later than the Galio on that rotation. And right here, Tactical is starting to feel the pressure, so he's channeling it back, and then he cancels it. And they see that he cancels it, so Leona stays, and then he comes up to just try and get some farm. Right now, he's down almost 30 CS, and he just feels the pressure of needing to get this. Then Sword Art is there. They commit for the kill, and Draven cashes in. And this is kind of where the game feels like it's over, especially for the bot lane. They were able to get the pick onto Core JJ. Tactical greeds and stays, probably out of frustration from not being able to get any farm. He just feels like he needs to get something, hit an item spike, because all he's able to buy after that is a dagger. So he gets another, he finishes the Cutlass, gets a dagger, versus Draven gets another plate. He's up at this point 4 turret plates. He has a 35 CS lead. They've gotten a Drake. They are going to finish the IE on Draven at 10 minutes and 30 seconds. And then also SofM is going to get the Rift Herald here. And so it's been complete domination. And all they've had to do on top side is just commit the flash. If he's getting pressured, they just flash away. Mid lane just crashes waves using the wave clear advantage and just roams with Predator to the side lanes to deny anything. And so really from level 1, SofM and the bot lane from Suning were able to just completely take away the bot lane's ability to answer any plays. They split the map, committed to vertical jungling, and kept the vertical jungling going throughout the early game to starve out the Twitch and the Rakan, and to make sure that Broxah really had no option except to go top to a lane that he didn't want to really influence. It's hard. He didn't really have anything to work with. So this was just a really clinical execution of vertical jungling and using early pressure and early pathing to make the game unplayable for your opponents. If you liked this VOD review, I hope that you do. This is kind of a new format, so if this is something you enjoy, I can look at more situations, more gameplay from Worlds, to just kind of get inside the heads of these players and these teams and how they go about creating a game plan, executing, and trying to win games on the world's biggest stage. Hope you like this, and I will see you next time.